What's up, guys? I'm espben here on 60 coming with my week 3 predictions. And without further ado, let's jump into it. First game, we have the Buffalo Bills against the New England Patriots. Toss-up game. And then we have the New England Patriots. My pick will be for the New England Patriots to win it. This will be a shootout. So for y'all people who like watching the shootout games, this game was just for you. New England's offense will, I think, overpower Bills' offense. I think that the Patriots will stop Fred Jackson thanks to that good defense now, the rushing defense now they got that has improved now with the addition of Albert Hainsworth. I think the Patriots will win it because their offense will overpower the Bills' offense with Tom Brady firing it to Wes Welker. Deion Branch is looking right now like the old Deion Branch. So this is good news for the Patriots, and the Patriots I think have this one. Sorry, they have this one by a slim margin. Sorry. The next game we have the Carolina Panthers against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Cam Newton has been looking sharp for his 2 games that he played so far. 422 against Arizona. We thought that was a fluke. 432 against the defending champs. How about that? We have I have the Carolina Panthers winning it, and their defense has been stepping up these days and not allowing teams to score that many points. You know, we thought Green Bay's gonna blow them out. Instead, they hold them. I also saw their red zone defense getting better. They only held the Packers to 3. They even I saw that they held the Packers at one time 3 drives, 3 field goals. So the Carolina Panthers kept it close last week. I look this one to be an easy win, and finally the first win for Coach Rivera and the Carolina Panthers organization. Next game we had the Detroit against next game we had the Cincinnati Bengals against the San Francisco 49ers. I have the Cincinnati Bengals winning it. Their defense will be high powered. They will stop Frank Gore against that full rookie offensive line. They only have one veteran in their offensive line. I see Cincinnati winning it by 2 touchdowns. And also San Francisco, they do not have that high power offense needed to win ball games like that. And Alex Smith needs that. So I do think that the San Francisco 49ers after this season need to be looking to get some high power offensive wide receivers and some explosives for their offense to flourish for next season. But for this game, I think Cincinnati will win. Cleveland against Miami. I think the Fins will win it this game. If you put Chad Henne against any soft defense, he will play as good as it gets. He threw 400 plus against the Patriots secondary, a sloppy secondary. But as y'all saw last week, he did not do the same against that Wade Phillips' 3-4 defense of the Houston Texans. I think he will have a good game against a not so good Cleveland's offense, again a not so good Cleveland secondary. I also think the Cleveland Browns will win it because the Browns have not started off fast as I expected. Colt McCoy did win barely against the Colts, and Colt McCoy has not had a good game so far, and I don't think he will have a good game with a fairly good Fins Dolphins secondary going up against him. I think the Houston Texans, no, the Miami Dolphins will win it because the Cleveland Browns will not be able to stop Reggie Bush, Reggie Bush, Brandon Marshall going deep. This will just be too much for them, and I think they will win. The Miami Dolphins should get an easy win against Cleveland. Next game we have the Detroit Lions against the Minnesota Vikings. I expect the Detroit Lions to win. Their offense has just been high powering right now. Matthew Stafford, Calvin Johnson connection, and there is a reason Calvin Johnson is called Megatron. He did not practice last week, so he still caught 2 touchdowns against Tampa Bay. He's still not practicing this week, but I still expect big numbers from Calvin Johnson against the Minnesota Vikings. I also think the Minnesota Vikings will lose because sorry, Donovan McNabb needs some time to get back to his groove and find his rhythm with that Minnesota Vikings offense. I think the only guy who's doing right now work is AP. But as y'all know, one player will not build up a team. I think the Detroit Lions have this game and will win it. Next game we have the New Orleans Saints against the Houston Texans. As y'all heard, I just said the Houston Texans with that 3-4 defense will create a lot of pressure, but I just think the Saints will be just too much explosive against the Houston Texans. They are also playing at home in Superdome, which is a loudy place, and that will make it harder for the Houston Texans. I think that will be a big help for the Saints, and I think the Saints will win this game at home by a close margin again. Tough game to decide, but a close margin win for the Saints. We have the Philadelphia Eagles against the New York Giants next. I expect the Philadelphia Eagles to win. The Giants are just piling up injuries, and this is gonna hurt them in the long run. I think the Philadelphia Eagles will win because their corners, their secondary is just gonna be too easy for them with those injuries. As y'all saw last Monday night, Mario Manningham also went out. We still don't know his status, but he is out. He went out last week against the Rams on Monday night. I think the Philadelphia Eagles will win because their mismatches will just be too much for the Giants to handle, and they will win. For the Giants to have any chance, they need to be running it more and be avoiding a lot of passes. They need to be taking advantage and attacking that rushing defense more than that secondary. I also think the Giants will need to be going for the strip more and trying to get into the ball, trying to sack Michael Vick. And so that's why I think the Giants, that's why they need to have a perfect game in order to win against those Philadelphia Eagles, or maybe even come close. They need to have a perfect game. The Eagles will win this one in maybe like a blowout. I'm expecting a blowout here, because the Giants are not gonna be overcoming that much injuries. Next game we have the Tennessee Titans against the Denver Broncos. Y'all saw Tennessee Titans what they did, and now that they know what they're capable of in defense, now they're gonna be trying to use that against an unorganized Denver's defense and a sloppy Denver secondary. I think this will be a big win and a major step for the Tennessee Titans this season. I think the Tennessee Titans will win this game by 2 touchdowns because they will be playing an unorganized offense and a bad secondary. Next game, we have the New York Jets against the Oakland Raiders. I think the Jets will win this one against Oakland because the Jets just have too much high power. I think Plexico Burress will shine in this game, and I think the Jets will win because they have too much power on their defense and offense. And Oakland Raiders haven't met a team with 2 Pro Bowl safeties in a long time right now. So I think the Ravens will struggle, and they will lose to the Jets because the Jets are gonna be coming here and they're gonna be playing. This should be an easy win. Their offense is high power, the defense is high power. This should be easy for the Jets. And too much mismatches on that offense. Wide receivers. If we take a look at it, the Jets have a big mismatch here in favor of them. Then we have San Diego and Kansas City. Kansas City, they lost Eric Berry before the season started, and now they lose their starting running back and Jamal Charles, who's also their best player in their offense and their leader in their offense. with a torn ACL, and they will have him, and he will be out for the entire season. In Kansas City will not have a good season now that both of them are gone. I don't think they will have a good season. They don't have there are too many good players being out and too many injuries. They're just unorganized right now, and I think San Diego will take advantage and get that easy win right here. Next game we have the St. Louis Rams against the Baltimore Ravens, and I know the Ravens defense is gonna be hungry to make a bounce back in this game after a tough, ugly loss against the Tennessee Titans, which nobody expected. I think the Ravens, if they do not want the same thing that happened last week, Joe Flacco has to, sorry, Joe Flacco has to limit mistakes. Ray Rice has to bounce back again and do the same thing he did against Pittsburgh, and they just need to bounce back hard. I think they will, and I think they will beat the Rams. Chicago Green Bay meeting 150 and meeting 173. Tough. I think Chicago will get the upset of the day. Chicago will upset Green Bay. Green Bay's secondary has been just torn apart by in week 2 and week 1 and week 2 by Drew Brees and Cam Newton. I think Jay Cutler will take care of those mismatches and warn out that defense. Matt Forte running it, and I think they will have a good game against that secondary. And I think with a slim differential, the Chicago Bears will beat the Green Bay Packers. Upset of the week. Sorry. We have Arizona against Seattle. Arizona should have an easy win here. Seattle are just unorganized team. Travis Jackson, he still hasn't found his groove, and he still hasn't settled in with the team. Sidney Rice being out. Their defense hasn't played good yet. I look forward to Arizona to be using a lot of Beanie Wells. Maybe even more than 20 carries in this game. Beanie Wells. And then, when they worn out the defense, then go to the jump ball, deep ball, and the play action to Larry Fitzgerald. And I think Arizona will win this game against Seattle come Sunday afternoon. Next game we have Atlanta against Tampa Bay. Tough game to decide. I had to go Atlanta, winning it maybe even in the fourth quarter, when they have a quarterback like Matty Ice who can finish off games. Yeah, you did have a big chance to winning it. Tampa Bay will be battling for that one. It's anybody's game, but I think Tampa Bay will fall short and Atlanta will win. Then next game we have Pittsburgh against Indianapolis. Indianapolis has been just torched apart these days. Terry Collins hasn't found his groove, and he's still not with the team yet. He still hasn't found his rhythm with the team. Also, the defense has not been good. The only positive part coming in this game is taking advantage of that Pittsburgh offensive line with Dwight Freeney and Mathis. Other than that, Pittsburgh should come away with an easy win because Big Ben and their defense and the Pittsburgh Steel Curtain, their defense is going to have a big day against that Indianapolis offense and defense, and they will win by 17 points probably. Come Sunday night. Next game we have Dallas against Washington. I think Dallas will win because Washington offensive line will not hold up. DeMarcus Ware, Brady James, these guys are just going to be coming through, and the offensive line is just not going to hold up. The only positive for Washington coming this game is the secondary with D'Angelo Hall. He's going to be coming, and he's going to be good. And then their defense, if you take a look at it, Brian Orakpo, and they have a rookie. They have a good rookie back there, so they will be making sure they will be taking advantage of the Cowboys' mistakes. But I do think the Cowboys will win it. DeMarcus Ware is going to be rushing. Everybody's going to be doing their job. And I think they have the explosive with Jason Witten and all the other guys to win come Monday night. Alright, thank you for watching my video. Please subscribe, rate, and peace out.